All right, welcome back to the Fantasy Huddle podcast. My name is Anish.
And I am Tammy.
We did it, Tammy. Next week is the last week of the regular season.
Yeah.
Football is flying, fantasy football.
Yeah, I feel like the time flies so quickly whenever fantasy season starts.
We got a great episode for you guys. We have a lot on the docket, so let's jump right in. Let's huddle up and get ready for the show. So, as usual, we're just going to talk about our fantasy league and some updates from this past couple weeks. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. We had a little break. And then we're going to talk about the past games from this week, from Thursday, Thanksgiving, through Sunday and Monday. And then the stud list and the naughty list. And then we have some major injuries to talk about. And some predictions. Our final regular season predictions coming up. So, yeah, Tammy. All right, let's jump right into the league update. So the highest scorer of this past week was Mr. Lance Peer, LJ Peer. He had 156 points. So I'm a little salty here because I wanted to shout myself out, and I was the highest scorer until Monday Night Football happened. And Lance just overtook me. Like, honestly, respect to him. He played Jerry Jeudy, who we will talk about in a little bit. But, yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Lance is coming back from the dead, and he's not going away easy. I know there was a lot of talk earlier in the season between you and Lance in terms of the quality of his team, but he's rallying back, and I think he's been our highest scorer the past, at least 3 of the past few weeks, or the past 4 or 5 weeks. So he's been fluctuating between highest scorer and lowest scorer, but just lucky for him, he's scoring a lot of points late in the season to rally back into playoff contention. I think next week is going to fully determine his playoff fate, but for someone that was down bad, he's made quite the comeback.
I know, just 2 weeks ago, he scored 175 points. So
yeah, against me. It was rough.
Yeah, his team is definitely performing well. Definitely. Got to give shout out. I can't. There's nothing bad you can say about that.
And he has
three win streak right now. So
yeah, and he has a very valuable asset sitting on the bench in Jonnu Smith, who's been playing great as a tight end. So
fortunately, the trade deadline is over. So
yeah, definitely a sleeper. I feel like you didn't try hard enough to trade him. If you did, you'll have got a significant
tight end
position. You should have just paired him up with another player to boost one of his positions. But he has a pretty solid team, and he's definitely a sleeper for winning it all.
And then on the other end, Max Blanche is the lowest scorer. His team is kind of struggling right now. He's fighting for a playoff spot. He's facing you this coming week, but he needs to win. Otherwise, he's in danger of missing.
Yeah, I mean, Max's team, honestly, Max has the most underwhelming team I've seen this season. I just remember looking back at his team and thinking, this is a tough team. I'm honestly surprised by his record that he's in playoff contention. But, Max always find a way. Mixing has kept him afloat. Baker,
Etienne and Pacheco kind of ruined him.
Etienne and who?
Pacheco being out for so long.
Yeah, Pacheco being out for so long. Did you trade him? No, he's back.
He's back. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have a wide receiver 2, and his wide receiver 1 is Garrett Wilson. I guess he has Jamu that could play at wide receiver 2, but I see him as a flex option. Yeah, his team does not have a lot of life in this team.
No.
I don't think he has a strong enough team to win it all. If he sneaks into the playoff, I think he will need some massive luck to get past the first round.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely need some luck there. But yeah, how are you feeling about your team?
Uh, I think every year I aim to set off my team to have the best chance possible. I think I've done that.
Yeah.
Put I've made the right moves on the waiver wire and trades to give my team the best chance possible. Now it's just gonna come down to who's the luckiest person and who's gonna have like the right weeks and not. I think
Hmm.
honestly it's kind of lucky of us. Well, not to say it now, but Mike not making the playoffs with these three wide receiver threat. I think I saw him as someone that could go on a crazy run in the
Run.
playoffs
Yeah.
if he's in, just because of the three solid wide receivers.
Right.
But him being out of it, I think definitely. I mean, everyone have like Lance has a solid team. You have a solid team. I think you've done a great job building your team. Uh, Sawyer has improved his team with the trade that we made together. I think that was a mutually beneficial trade. Uh, Max is. I mean, Max technically on paper is the favorite because he has the best record, and he's well, Max is goes as far as Saquon Barkley takes him, and
Yeah.
so it depends on like if Saquon goes on this. Saquon's matchup for the playoffs are kind of nice, so it depends on how far Saquon goes, is how far Max goes, and Lamar. He has like a two-headed snake that keeps him
Hmm.
alive, and the others do their job enough, so he has a chance also. Uh, Yeah, a lot of good teams in the playoffs. I like what I've done with my team, and I think it's just going to come down to matchups and luck for the playoffs.
Yeah.
You can't really control how good these players actually do in real life. You just try to set up our teams. How do you feel
Yeah.
about your team?
I'm feeling pretty good. Cautiously optimistic. I have some studs. I made some good moves. I think Keenan Allen might be a really good move that I made. He might be a set and forget depending on matchup for flex for me. He's getting the
Mm,
targets, so I'm really happy I picked him up.
yeah,
Because Rashad White's kind of going downhill. But yeah, I just gotta shout out my faith in Najee Harris. This entire year, I've been his biggest fan. He rewarded me with a top 5 running back finish from this past week. And yeah, Trey McBride, I gotta say, unbelievably consistent tight end. And if he starts getting the touchdowns, I think he's going to be utterly dominant. So he has to have positive regression. That has to. He's due for a touchdown at some
yeah.
point.
It's insane that he hasn't had a touchdown this season, and is the number
Yeah,
two tight end for fantasy. That is well, he
yeah.
hasn't had a catching touchdown. He had one rushing touchdown.
He rushed. Yeah, and I think he
He had
also
one touchdown,
picked up a
but
fumble in the touchdown too. This is fun.
yeah,
Fun
he had a
fact.
fumble touchdown. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. So
like week 3.
he's good. He's a good. Like, these are the type of tight ends I like. Like they'll
Yeah,
give
he's
me a
like
solid like 11 points without even having a touchdown. Like reliable 11 points. And I
he's
have him
like the
in
safety
another,
blanket for Kyler.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I
Kyler,
have him in another league.
if a
And
play's like broken and like the reads aren't there, he just chucks it down to McBride, which I'm
yeah,
happy about. But
the
he's
past 2 weeks,
just
12 receptions, like insane.
that's crazy.
He caught
Yeah,
all these targets last week. It's just it's just phenomenal. Him and Brock Bowers, definitely. I wanted
yeah,
Brock Bowers just in fall to me in the draft.
yeah. Last thing I wanted to say is, Tammy, you are locked in right now. Unfortunately, you can't go. You're not going to get the 2 seed, and you're not going to get the 1 seed. But you are locked in right now for the 3 or 4 seed, depending on how me and Ori and James go. Uh, I know James is kind of weak. We'll touch on that, but I just wanted to say you're locked into the 3 and 4 seed,
Yeah.
and Ori is actually uh, in the background right now. And we were just
Mhm.
chatting before the stream or for the podcast, and he was just joking, saying like, if he could pick matchups or looking ahead to the playoffs, he'd prefer to stay on the other side of the bracket of you. So
Okay.
essentially, if I win, I'm facing Ori this week. I will be the 2 seed, and most likely you will be the 3 seed. And that will mean that us two, will be in the same side of the bracket, and then Ori's going to be the other side. So Ori's
But
just joking. He might just bench everyone and get the
oh,
loss
he's saying you prefer to be on the other side of the bracket of us.
of you mainly. He didn't say
Uh,
me.
uh, why? Why me? What did I do?
I don't know. He thinks your team is scary.
I think all the honestly, some of these teams are pretty solid. Like
Yeah,
we've done your team is solid. Ori's team, honestly, I wouldn't sleep on Ori's team either. So
yeah. Ori's team
I
is solid
honestly, when
too.
it comes to playoffs, I just think it just comes to a matter of luck and who goes on the run and who gets the lucky
Exactly.
matchup. So uh, anyone could have a massive week of all the teams. Like the only team that I think if they make the playoffs, like I doubt can get 3 wins is for sure Max Blanche. Like Blanche, I don't see him even if he sneaks in getting three
Yeah.
wins.
So he's not
But
repeating.
everyone
You don't
else,
think
what?
he's not repeating as a
I don't
champion?
think so. I don't think
Yeah.
so. I don't. That team is just too weak. I don't. It's too many weaknesses. No consistent players. Uh, like
Yeah.
no one. Like who can I even point to on that tonight? I could say is a you can trust them to score a
Mixon.
good amount of. Yeah, mixing. Yes, mixing for sure. But everyone else, honestly, mixing has got him to where he is right now.
Mixon, like I said, fantasy MVP so far this year. Fourth round running back playing like a top player. He also missed 3 weeks due to injury, but he could have been like the RB1 overall.
You know, I would have agreed with that 2 weeks ago, but I think Brock Bowers is fantasy MVP. Rookie, tight end,
That's true.
dominating, like insane. I don't know what round is it picking. Eighth round, projected 8th round. In the 8th round,
Yeah.
he's just is
Bowers.
yeah, he's done. Like mixing, we've seen similar like mixing. Yes, this is good, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not like surprising. A rookie tight end dominating like this with Bowers is like I
This
expected him
is
to have a great season, but not the type of season he's having.
We're likely going to have two rookie tight ends finish number 1 overall 2 years in a row. Bowers and then Laporta last year.
Porter from last season, yeah, but Porter went down this year.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
All right. Should we move on? Anything else?
no, I think yeah, we've covered everything I wanted to chat about in our league. Definitely big matchup between Sawyer and yeah, Sawyer and Sid.
Sid.
I think
Winners in.
winners in, losers out. I don't envy either of them. I don't like being in that situation on the last week of playoffs. I usually prefer just being safe by
Yeah.
that last week. So, uh, yeah, we'll see. I'll keep my eye on that matchup.
Me too. It's
Both missing some
also
key
it's
players.
also another buy apocalypse.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there's a ton of
exactly.
buys.
I think the buys is in favor of Sid though. So unless
Yeah.
who else, I think Sawyer has enough depth to make up for the buy players. So he's gonna be all right. Just yeah, he has a
We'll
quarterback.
see. All right, let's jump into some games recap. So Thanksgiving, let's chat about, in my opinion, the most exciting game: Lions and Bears. Lions squeak out a win, 23-20. Yeah. So the first thing I wanted to chat about is Sonic and Knuckles. They're still running the ball, dominating as needed. The offense wasn't too good this week. Jared Goff didn't have a really good passing game, but the running game generated more than 50% of the total yards, 141 in total. I just got to say, the reason why I want to say this is the running game is just too good for Goff to pass it, and Amon Ra is getting affected. And then, as an Amon Ra owner, I'm frustrated because they're not throwing it enough.
Well, I would say this: like Chicago, to their credit, have a great pass defense. So
Yeah.
like Goff wasn't really given the opportunity to throw that much. But all credit to Detroit's running game. I think you have the unfortunate luck of having two wide receivers in two offenses that are like run dominant
Yeah.
in AJ Brown and Amon Ra, your two wide receivers. So they haven't been given as many opportunities as in
Hmm.
previous years because they have such great running backs and their run game is just so good. Which is a little concerning, but they still high talent wide receivers that you get some
Definitely.
production out of.
Yeah. I'm not too worried about them though. I think they have decent matchups for the playoffs. So especially the Lions. Lions are facing Bills first week of playoffs, week 15, and that might be a shootout. Hoping for a shootout.
Yeah, that would be an interesting game. That would be a good game.
Yeah, and then yeah, like I said, Lions offense kind of struggled. They didn't do too well in the second half, but on the flip side, the Bears came back from 16-0 down and were a new completely different team in the second half. My guy, waiver pickup Keenan Allen scored two touchdowns. What do you got to say about the Bears?
Dude, the Bears are like they're just. I feel like they're on the cusp of being a good team.
Yeah.
Like they have the exciting rookie that's I have no doubt will get better and be better at decision making. They've made some coaching staff changes. They recently just fired their coach,
Yeah.
and they were on the cusp of coming back in this game. But due to honestly, I will always blame the coach on what happened with the
Hmm.
Bears. Like your rookie, inexperienced quarterback is taking too much time off the call the timeout. Just
Yeah.
call the timeout, kick the field goal. Call it like it's unacceptable that they're down by three. They had like 10 seconds that was wasted with a timeout in hand, and they didn't call the timeout. You're down.
Nope.
Call the timeout. Always call the timeout. Like it
Yeah.
was ridiculous that they did not call the timeout. I cannot believe that happened. I was watching it live and I was like, this is like this man is the coach gotta go because that is a bad coach. And I didn't even have to say it. The Bears let him go. Because even I don't know anything about like being a football
Hmm.
coach. I'll never be like my dumbass would have called the timeout. Like how do you have that job and you don't call the timeout? I'll be so upset if I'm a Bears fan. I'm not even a Bears fan. I'm this upset about it. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. I was watching
I
that game.
think
I was like, I was baffled.
I think the majority of the blame does go on the coach, but Caleb Williams did change the play call last minute, and he could have called a timeout too or spiked it.
Yeah, but
There was
he's
some
rookie. Like
confusion.
he's a rookie in the like he's playing the game. You as a coach, your eye is on that clock. I think
Yeah.
that's what makes a good coach. Like it doesn't even make like that's what makes expectation for a coach. You
Yeah.
have a rookie quarterback in there that's taking too much clock. Once it's like 8 seconds left, I'm calling the timeout. I don't even need
Yeah.
to like I'm
That
calling
was
that.
that
I'm
was
shutting it
earlier.
down. I'm like, hey, you're taking too much time off the clock. We can take a shot. Then like if it's
Yeah, it
incomplete,
was.
then we just kick the field goal. But you're taking way too much time off. Literally, Caleb was just standing there for like 10 seconds.
I know. It
Like
was complete failure.
yes, it's a mistake by the rookie, but like
Yeah,
terrible, terrible, absolute failure from the coach.
absolutely. Yeah, but hey, fantasy wise, Bears are producing.
Yeah, Keenan Allen. I started him in another league, and he definitely helped me win.
So did DJ Moore though. DJ Moore got like 16 targets, I think.
Yeah, in one league I have both of them, and they both
Yeah,
were solid, and I played them. So Detroit
very
doesn't have a
good.
great pass
This
defense.
this
Um,
this offense reminds me of the Seahawks last year. So if you're a Rome Odunze owner, I think next year is your guy. The next year is a chance for you, not this
yeah,
year.
yeah, he's the young gun. That's gonna. I still I like the upside of Odunze. Which is why I acquired it.
I think if
Acquired it.
someone gets hurt, then he's a really good play.
Yeah, I mean they have a good playoff schedule, which is like
They do.
Keenan is also attractive.
Yeah, yeah, and that's something to keep an eye out how the Bears do. Because Caleb's doing pretty well too.
Next year, I expect them to be better. They need to beef up that of O line and stop
Yeah,
and protect Caleb.
they
Otherwise,
might get. They're
I'm
gonna.
like Joe
Hopefully,
Burrow.
they get a good head coach.
Yeah,
They need a good
and
head coach.
I know a man that goes by Bill Belichick. That doesn't have a job right now.
I don't think he wants. I don't know.
You never
I,
know. I
I
mean, you've been out for a year.
I want like a good offensive coach to go there. Like the Lions offensive coordinator. He's looking for a head coach job.
Yeah, you could go there.
Yeah,
But I mean, Big Bill.
that's true. They're saying
See,
he might go to Jacksonville.
yeah, a lot of coaching jobs are going to be available.
All right, let's move on to Sunday. Steelers face the Bengals. Unexpected shootout, in my opinion. 44-38. Steelers win. So I think we can all say for now, this is yet another Bengals loss. The reason why they're losing is their defense. Their defense is atrocious. They're letting up so many yards. It's honestly unacceptable. Joe Burrow and Chase are putting up like record breaking numbers this year. It's yeah, what do you got to say to that?
It's so sad. It's absolutely. This is like the saddest thing I've ever seen in football. Maybe even in
Yeah.
sports history. Like that I've been watching sports where you have players that are dominating. Even like they have a defensive player that's good, Hendricks,
Mhm.
that is playing. Is having a great season, but as a team, they just suck. And
Yeah.
it's not. I can't. I don't think I can blame the offense here. I think it's terrible, terrible Cincinnati defense. Absolutely, like
Terrible.
they get so many points scored on every single game. During the offseason, they really need to go fix that defense because
Yeah.
that defense is ugly and they just suck. They literally there's nowhere else to say they just suck and they can't
Yeah.
you can't win games if you're letting your opponent score over 30 points every game. Like no matter how good your offense is, no matter how great your quarterback and your wide receivers are playing, you can't win games like that. And they've lost
No.
games because of that. They lost shootout games to Baltimore because like their defense is just so bad. It's just their
Mhm.
defense is just that bad that if it's a shootout they would lose because the defense absolutely suck and cannot come up clutch when they need them to.
Same with the Washington game earlier, where Jaden had a hail mary to Terry
Yeah,
McLaurin. Yeah,
insane. Like
it's
it's just a
last.
sad
Yeah,
defense that cannot stop anything. Like
it's
if I,
honestly a
any of the
embarrassing
leaders on that
defense.
defense, they really need to get everyone together. Like, guys, we're this is on us. Like, this is on
Yeah,
the defense. Absolutely on the defense. So unacceptable. So sad to watch. And I'm kind of like salty here because I don't want my guy Jamar Chase to actually see that the last week or two of the season here.
I mean
So
that's something to
I have
keep
a
an eye
little
out.
yeah, I
That's
have a
something to
little
keep an eye
investment
out.
in them doing better and being in contention at least in week 17. Like at least having a chance, but it's not looking good at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess yeah, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. If they lose to Dallas this week, I think that's awful.
Yeah, if they
It's
lose, I mean, that defense is just so bad. Even I can see Cooper Rush throwing for 300 yards to
yeah.
touchdown. That's how bad the defense is.
And then to touch on the Steelers, because we have to shout them out, they scored 44 points, which is their season high. At one point, it's just a fun fact, Steelers scored on 5 straight drives, 3 touchdowns, and then 2 field goals. That's to close out the first half. 5 straight scoring possessions. Wilson had 257 yards in the first half, and he finished with over 400. So let me ask you this. Is this offensive showing by the Steelers something for them to like keep building on and keep producing like this, or is it just the product of playing the Bengals?
I don't want to discredit the Steelers, but I mean, they have a good team. They have a great football team. But I think this is more of a testament of how terrible the Bengals like
Yeah,
defense is. I don't think like Steelers are. I've said this before. They're a boring team to watch, just because of their style of play, and their offense is not the greatest. I don't expect the Steelers to drop 44 points on any other teams going on in the season.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still think they will win games. Yes, I think their offense is decent. It's not like
Hmm.
a score 44 points, super explosive offense, but I think this is more of a testament to the atrocity that is the Bengals defense.
Yeah. Well, I hope Najee still continues to produce. I need him.
Yeah, he's good. Like I think last year, Jalen Warren was kind of like stealing some of
Hmm.
the attention from Najee, but Najee asserted himself as the RB1 in Pittsburgh this
He's
season.
he's also on a contract year, so I think maybe he's more motivation there
Yeah, does that mean down year next year about Najee?
potentially. If he gets a new team, who knows where he's going to go? I've seen like Raiders, for example. I don't know.
Nah, they're gonna resign him. He's like
I don't know.
he fits right. I think he fits right into Pittsburgh. That would be insane if they don't resign him.
Yeah, it would be insane. And
That's Tomlin's boy.
yeah, he is. But maybe they'll just give it to Jalen Warren for him to be
No
the
way.
workhorse.
No way. Najee's definitely like Najee's more durable.
Yeah, he's only missed like 3 games. Yeah, that's crazy. His entire
Yeah,
career, he's only missed like 3 games.
yeah, he's way more durable, stronger. And if he's
Yeah,
playing better, I don't see why you would pay Jalen Warren over him. He's like the better running
he
back.
might. The reason is he might get more too expensive for the Steelers, Najee. So we'll see.
Mm, we'll see. I don't. I feel like he probably. I mean, I don't know Najee, but based on what I've seen, my instinct tells me that he's not gonna push too much for more money if it means leaving the Steelers. But hey, if he wants his money, go get that money.
Yeah, he's a running back. He needs
He's
the
a running
money.
back.
This is likely the only contract he could get.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the last Sunday game. Eagles Ravens. It's a potential Super Bowl matchup, as what people were saying coming into the week. Eagles started off kind of slow. They were down 9-0, 4 straight punts, but they turned it around, ended up winning 24-19. The late Ravens touchdown in the last 10. That's the last minute. So yeah, Eagles keep rolling. I got to say, they're looking very strong. They're looking like another Super Bowl run is in play here. Would you say the Saquon edition is like the best move that a team made this offseason?
Yes. Absolutely. Like I can't say another offensive. At least maybe there's some defensive moves that other teams make,
Mm-hmm.
but offensively, I can't. I don't see any other move that comes close. Just to keep things in perspective, right now, I don't know. Philly is like 9-2, maybe 10-2,
Mm-hmm.
9-2, and they're. I just saw a stat here that they have the least amount of pass completions and attempts of any team in the NFL this season, and they're 9-2. Like
Yeah.
just because how great that O line is, then you add a player of Saquon's caliber to that, and it was just game over that.
Mm-hmm.
I see Jalen being more comfortable in games that he's not making those bonehead throws he was doing last
Yeah.
year, where he's like throwing risky balls just
Yeah.
in hopes of winning games. Is like Saquon gives him so much comfort that it makes the right throws. They don't
Absolutely.
feel like making throws unless like they need to, just
Yeah.
because of how well Saquon is doing. Uh, AJ Brown, when they need to throw the ball, AJ Brown is there to catch it. So he's more comfortable
Yeah.
in the pocket as a QB. Their RPOs are good. Like it was the missing piece to this
Totally
team
was.
that they definitely needed. They desperately needed after last season
Yeah.
catastrophic
Collapse.
end. So to me, by far, one of the best moves I've seen. Honestly, since best moves I've seen since the Christian McCaffrey moved to 49ers.
SF. Yeah.
Yeah. So like doesn't get better than that.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. Last year, Jalen Hurts, he was he panicked a lot whenever like a play broke down and like the initial read wasn't there, and he threw, as you said, like wild passes, which led to interceptions, or just like offense just fell off last year at the end, and during their collapse. But now that's now it's like a very balanced. He was literally the missing piece for them, and yeah, and I agree. That was like a great addition. Can't believe the Giants let him go. But honestly, the Giants, he wouldn't be as good right now. The
Yeah,
Giants are
honestly,
bad.
yeah, they definitely did him a favor, and they did Philly a favor,
Yeah.
for sure. You will see how this season ends, but I'm grateful for Saquon and like so exciting to watch him as a Philly fan and root for him.
Hmm.
And he's just such a humble player too that he credits it to team. A lot of people try
Yeah.
to sell the narrative of like he would have so much of a better season if Jalen doesn't do the tush push, but Saquon is selfless and he's like, like that's our play. Like that's a play that we trust in and we rely in, and it's our identity. So it's not selfish at
Hmm.
all. And I love to see it. I just love to see, even when I'm playing against Saquon in fantasy, I root for Saquon to be great. And I love seeing those
He's
explosive runs, and it's so good.
so good.
Yeah,
And
it
then to
fits right
touch on the
in.
Ravens, though, it, they also have a really good running back, Derrick Henry. He played pretty well. I think he had 80 plus rushing yards, but unfortunately, they lost. The passing game kind of struggled against the Eagles. Eagles defense is actually playing really well this year. Um, but Mark Andrews got a touchdown, likely got a touchdown at the end. And yeah, and Justin Tucker, he might be washed. Fortunately, that's bad. He has to make those kicks because they could have
Yeah,
been in the lead if he made those. But unfortunately, the tides turned from those misses. The Eagles took advantage of the opportunity, and then scored. And the rest is history.
yeah, it definitely killed their momentum a lot. And it kind of sucks because as a coach, you know what Justin Tucker has done for the organization, and you want to put your
Yeah.
trust in him. But this has been happening so many times this season that it's costing them games. And in the playoffs, where the light is brighter, and like it's one mistake that's cost you like the trip to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And this is just very very concerning, from Justin Tucker. Like
Hmm.
it's a struggle for sure. I was going to touch on one thing for the Ravens.
Is it about Lamar?
No, oh no, actually, one thing I was going to touch about on this game that I love seeing as an Eagles fan is when the Ravens were up 9-0 in like early on in the game, and seeing how Philly's defense, like CJ Gardner Johnson, got all of the
Yeah.
defensive players together. I'm like, guys, like we need to do our job here. Like we need to get it together, and seeing how that translated and they executed well on the field was
Hmm.
definitely made me optimistic about this team. That like they know what they need to do and they can come together as a team like that. And that was it was beautiful to see. Hopefully they keep going strong and keep it together. They're getting some injuries as we're going into the later end of the season, but
Yeah.
hopefully everyone gets healthy soon.
Hopefully. It's definitely a strong Super Bowl contender. Excited for the potential Lions Eagles NFC Championship game. Hopefully, we get to see that.
Yeah, that would be
That'll be
it'll
a
be
treat.
Saquon versus Sonic and Knuckles, I guess. That would be the
Yeah,
storyline.
it would be.
If that happens, yeah, both great run teams, both great defenses. That'd be an exciting matchup.
And finally, we have our Monday night game, which was honestly a very entertaining game. It went turned into like kind of a shootout. But to start off, Jameis Winston delivers a Jameis Winston classic game. He had like a couple pick sixes, three interceptions, throws over 400 yards, got four passing touchdowns. He did literally everything.
This is the most Jameis Winston game. Like this is the definition of a Jameis Winston game. I
Yeah.
love the guy. Like the guy is such a likable personality. He's himself all the time and he's funny. I would say though, I don't one of the pick six. I don't blame on him. I blame on
Yeah.
Elijah Moore not playing defense. Like I know he's an offensive
Mhm.
player, but come on, bro. Uh, the game is still on the line here. All you have to do was touch the man and he didn't touch him and allow it to be pick six, therefore
Yeah.
saving Ori's season also. that pick
That pick
six
six
literally is what dragged
saved.
Ori because next week Ori was gonna face you in the playoffs
Yeah.
in the last week and I was like looking at it, I was like, like we've seen this before where Ori is like so
Mhm.
close, but I'm glad to see my guy make it to the playoffs for his first time. Uh, kudos to Ori. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Kudos to Ori.
that game was just the most Jameis Winston game I've ever seen.
Yeah. But Jameis Winston, as I mentioned, 400 passing yards plus 400 plus passing yards, and who did he throw to? Jerry Judy. A revenge game against the Broncos. He had over 250 receiving yards, or sorry, 230 receiving yards. Crazy game for him. Crazy.
He didn't get the W though,
Yeah,
unfortunately. But
didn't
yeah,
get it.
great career night for Jerry
And
Judy in
he
prime
did it
time.
against Sertan, Patrick Sertan.
Yeah, Sultan wasn't matched up with him most of the time though. Um,
That's true.
but he did get the better of the Broncos defense. Which I was surprised Sultan wasn't matched up with him most of the time. Mostly after he
Yeah,
started going off in the first half, like you think the
yeah.
Broncos would put him on that. They kept putting him in. They
And
kept moving him around. So
they did. Last thing I want to say is the Broncos. Bo Nix is making a late run for Rookie of the Year. I don't think he's going to win, but I think he's making a run to just to have his name out there.
yeah,
He's playing pretty well.
he's playing great. I think it comes down to him and Jaden McDaniels. Uh, it's it's gonna be it's gonna. I think maybe it's gonna be a matter of who has a better record at the end of the season to fully define it. But I think the former LSU quarterback has the edge there.
Definitely. For sure. All right, anything else before we move on?
Um, one thing I saw about like you think McDaniel's is gonna make the playoffs? Not the playoffs. He's gonna be All Pro or the Pro Bowl in the NFC.
Who?
McDaniel's,
McDaniels? Who's that?
no Daniels. Sorry,
Oh,
Jalen Daniels.
oh, yeah. The voting. He's pretty high up there. I think he's going to make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, he's
I think Lamar
yeah.
and Jaden are the two leaders.
Gee, I don't know why did I call him McDaniels? That's the coach of the Washington of Miami, right?
You're also thinking of the Timberwolves, Jaden McDaniels.
Jaden, all these Jadens. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe. But Jaden Daniels here is
yeah, he's my guy. He's the guy quarterback I
balling.
targeted in the draft.
Is balling for sure.
Yeah, it's him and CJ Stroud, and I'm glad I missed out on CJ.
Yeah, so sophomore slump for CJ.
Yeah,
Until the playoffs, though, I don't know. He didn't really establish it until late in the season last year, so
that's
you never
true.
know.
You never know. All right, let's move on to stud list. Stud list time. Start off with Brock Bowers. We talked about him a little bit. 10 for 14, 14 targets, 140 yards, one touchdown, total 30.2 points. Honestly, that's like a wide receiver one number he's putting at the tight
Yeah,
end. So really good. Next guy on the list, Josh Allen. So Josh Allen is the first quarterback in history to pass a touchdown, pass for a touchdown, rush for a touchdown, and receive a touchdown. Fun fact. But overall, he had 28.42 points. Jerry Judy, we talked about him. He's late addition to this, but you have to add him. 9 for 13, 235 yards, one touchdown, 40 points in total. And finally, Jameis Winston. 34, 58, 497 yards, almost 500, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 33 fantasy points. Yeah. So who do you think
That
is
is
going to repeat?
insane. That is so insane. I can't believe a player like a quarterback has like 33 fantasy points after throwing like 3 interceptions.
Yeah,
But that's Jameis.
that is Jameis for you.
But yeah, Brock Bowers is wide receiver. Is a wide receiver.
Yeah.
With the numbers he's putting up here, is dragging Lance back into it. Him like Brock Bowers and I guess who else? Someone else. Who's going off of Lance?
James Cook. He's been pretty
James
well.
Cook is
Josh
going.
Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. Yeah, resurgence of Josh Jacobs. Definitely saving Lance's season here, and Chris Boswell, of course.
Yeah. And Boswell. So you think Brock Bowers is going to repeat? He's facing the Buccaneers.
Oof, they give up a lot of passing yards.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think he's most likely to repeat. Yeah. Judy's playing Pittsburgh. Divisional game.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Honestly, also Judy definitely benefited from Cedric Tillman being out.
Being out.
I
Yeah.
should have I forget about that. If I knew that I would have started in my other league. Uh so like if Tillman is back next week,
Mm-hmm.
then I can see that handicap like capping his peak there. Well, yeah.
I'm gonna go with Josh Allen. They're facing the Rams. Rams have a weak defense, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Either Josh Allen or Brock Bowers. Okay. On the flip side here, Tammy's not the list. We have Justin Herbert that had 147 passing yards, a 2 point conversion, only finished for 7.98 fantasy points. Uh, then we also have Kenneth Walker that had 49 rushing yards, two reception out of 3 targets for -3 yards, only finished with 6.6 points. Finally, we have Cooper Cup, this is the most surprising person on this list for me. He had 3 reception out of 6 targets for 17 yards and only finished with 4.7 points.
Yeah.
Disappointing for Cooper. Uh, One thing before I ask you who you think is going to be a repeat of any year is the Chargers game. I was very puzzled by what was going on. I didn't watch that game,
Mm-hmm.
but so Justin Herbert did not throw a touchdown. I don't see. Did any of their running backs get a rushing touchdown? Who scored the
No.
touchdown? So that's my question. Who
It
scored the
was.
points?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it was one, two, three field goals. That's 9 points right there. And then they had a pick six, which is
Oh,
and then a 2 point conversion. So that's 8 points. So 17
gotcha.
there.
Because I was looking at
Yeah.
like, so who's scoring
If,
the touchdowns?
if we're chatting about that game, Kirk Cousins is about to get benched. 4 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. That's bad.
Okay, cool. Not saying this is. I mean, everyone's saying, why would you draft Michael Penix? Well, this
Yeah,
is why
now.
because
Yeah.
because Kirk is like this. He's so fluky. Like he goes on the run and it cools off
They have
significantly.
to consider benching him. That's my take. They have to.
Yeah, I mean they're still in playoff contention.
Yeah. If he continues to play like this, it's bad.
Did
Three
Penix
losses in a
join
row. There
last
are
game?
3 losses in a row.
How
What?
many touchdowns does Kirk have in the last passing touchdown does Kirk have in the last 3 games?
Let's see. Game log. Um, 0. He has 0 touchdowns in the last 3 games. 6 interceptions.
Yeah, bench him. Yeah, give him a break. Make him want to prove himself.
He's not doing well.
Wow, 0 passing touchdowns in the last month.
Yeah, the two Achilles quarterbacks, the two guys returning from Achilles tears, they could both be benched. Aaron Rodgers too.
Yeah, maybe we put this on November. Let's just say Kirk had a
Maybe.
bad November. He's gonna December is Christmas holiday season.
Yeah.
It's gonna be better.
All right.
But who do you think is the repeat offender here?
So if we go by the matchups, the the Chargers are facing the Chiefs. The Seahawks are facing I think they're facing the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think they're facing
Um,
Arizona.
yeah, yeah, they're facing Arizona, and Rams are facing the Bills. As I said, I think honestly, none of these guys are going to repeat here. But if I have to pick, I don't know. I'm going to go Herbert again
Yeah,
on
I mean
road
everybody's playing the
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah,
Yeah,
but divisional game last time they almost beat the Chiefs.
yeah. I don't know. None of these guys, I think, are going to repeat. That's my answer.
I know Herbert is missing his favorite weapon this year in J.K. Dobbins.
Honestly, Lad
That's
McConkey might be out, so that's
mm,
keep an eye out.
Quentin Johnston time.
Lad McConkey exited the game with a knee injury.
Quentin Johnston.
Quentin
No,
Johnson, Mr.
no. I know
Drops
who the
machine.
asset is actually on that team.
Josh
With
Palmer.
McConkey. No, Will Disley.
Oh yeah, Will Disley. Right.
I need a tight end in another league this week. Maybe I'll target him if he's available. Uh, yeah. So that's gonna be Chargers. I'm curious to see what Justin Herbert does then. I think based on even if McConkey is out and if J.K. Dobbins is out for the season, I think Herbert is gonna be the repeat offender.
Yeah.
All right, not to dwell too much on that. Moving on to our injury watch here. I'm looking. These are unfortunately, if you own these guys, they're probably done for the fantasy season. So this is kind of a goodbye, farewell to these
Farewell.
players in terms of fantasy. First, we have the GOAT, the most, the most, I guess, boom or bust player in fantasy history in terms of historical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say he's a boom or bust historically. Not because he's not a great player talent, it's because of these injuries. And I don't think I need to say the name. The GOAT himself, Christian McCaffrey, PCL injury, he's on IR. He's done for the fantasy season. I think he only played 3 games this year for the fantasy owners, and no one got that first overall pick value. In the past, since I've been playing fantasy, I think this is the 3rd injury season for CMC.
Yeah, it's not good.
In the past 6 years. But whenever he's healthy and he plays, he's the best fantasy player on the field. I hope he gets better. The 49ers are having a sad year also, similar to the Bengals.
Yeah.
Down year for them for sure. Looking tough to make the playoffs, but they can still win their division. It's an open division. Next, if you have Christian McCaffrey and you thought ahead, you'll have picked this guy up because CMC is injury prone. These guys, if he gets injured, at least I have this guy to plug in. Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason, at the end of the game last week, got an ankle injury. Now he's an IR. A lot of people that own CMC either traded for Jordan Mason or drafted Jordan Mason from the beginning in hopes of preparing for CMC, and that's what any good fantasy manager would have done. But this is just a double whammy year if you want these guys because now Jordan Mason is also on the IR out for the rest of fantasy season. Essentially, 2 roster spots gone. Now, if you're in playoffs, it sucks more because you probably won't get Isaac Guerrero, your backup. I feel sad for my boy James.
Keep going. Talk about the next guy.
As I'm saying, I feel just feel bad for James. Next guy, J.K. Dobbins, I own him in 1 league. Knee injury.
Yeah.
unfortunately, we already kind of touched on him, so he's out for the season. Also, a James guy.
Also, yeah, at that point, I was gonna chime in. That's three guys on James's roster, three running backs,
That's the most unlucky thing ever. Three running backs on James's roster, and
effectively done for the season.
and he's gonna have to
Fantasy,
drop them.
fantasy
And
season,
he's
fantasy
yeah, and
season.
he's not gonna be able to pick up any of the backups
No,
because he's.
I think J.K. Dobbins will be back, maybe championship game if he makes it, but I'm not
But
sure.
like, would you even want to start him
No,
after the
yeah,
first week back from an from an
I don't think
injury?
so.
No, like it's so, and you gotta get to the championship game for that to matter.
Yeah,
And finally, Austin Eckler, uh, is on IR
concussion, IR.
due to concussion. Like, what? How bad is that concussion?
He was knocked out on the
Oh
field.
my
It was
god, I didn't
bad.
see that.
He
That's
was a
well.
kick
I hope he gets
returner.
better. But yeah, those are the injuries from the past 2 weeks. Yeah, I feel bad for James. The past 2 weeks, lost three
He,
running backs. It's insane.
yeah, Eckler apparently suffered through memory loss, so
Oh wow,
they were taking it really slow.
they should.
He didn't remember like when he got hit, and then when he went to the hospital, he didn't remember. He blacked out apparently,
Oh no!
and he's not committing to playing again this season. So
Wow. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Take care of himself for his family.
definitely.
Uh, yeah. Unfortunate injuries the past couple of weeks. Well, I hope everyone gets better and no one
Mm-hmm.
have any long term damages due to their injuries. Biggest loser from this is James, unfortunately, in terms
Definitely,
of
he
fantasy.
has two running
Obviously,
backs left on his roster.
yeah. Where's the running
Healthy.
back?
He has Devon Achan and Javante Williams.
Having to start Javonte Williams is so painful
Yeah, and
for anyone.
he's on bye this week too, and he needs he yeah
Is James secure for the playoffs? I think he is.
he is, but he needs to turn around for playoffs somehow. I don't know if he can.
Yeah, he's gonna have to rely on those waiver picks, unfortunately for him. And this is a bad time of the year. That's why he doesn't like our waiver system.
Yeah,
Oh, James.
James.
All right, he'll figure it out. His unfortunate luck strikes again. All right, that wraps it up. Moving on to our weekly predictions there. Uh, our weekly boom and bust prediction. So, Anish, I'll let you kick it off. Let's start off with the low, then end on the high. So, who's your bust prediction for this season?
My bust prediction is Tyreek Hill of the Dolphins. They're facing the New York Jets, and if it wasn't for a weird like batted around ball that landed in his hands perfectly for a touchdown, he would have been on the bust list last week. So he's not getting production. He's not getting design looks. Achan is honestly the best uh, asset on the team for offensive, and then the next guy is Jonnu Smith. Like that makes no sense to me. But Hill's yeah, he's something is off this year. I think it's maybe his wrist is bothering him. He has he's playing with a torn ligament in his wrist, so something's up. And the Jets have a good secondary, so
Yeah, yeah, good pick for a boss. Uh, my bust of the week is gonna be Big John Robinson against Minnesota. Just Falcons are on a downward trend. Kirk is gonna try to redeem himself, passing the ball more. And Minnesota just have a great defense. I know Bijan is a good player, but
yeah,
I just the momentum is against them, and playing against a good team like Minnesota really is it's not in his favor. All right, on the opposite side, the boom prediction. What do you got this week?
I yeah, my player is Jaden Reed for the Packers. So the reason why I say this is it's a Thursday night game. Yeah, so it's in 2 days. the Lions when they played in Thanksgiving, they in the second half we chatted about this game. The Bears made a big comeback. They're systematically just made the game like really close at the until the end, the failure at the end with the timeout. But as why you might ask why that happened? The Lions, I've never seen this before. Lions had 5 or 6 injuries happen in the second half, mainly to their defense, and at that point, they couldn't stop anyone on the Bears off, like their wide receivers. Yeah, so I think Jaden Reed, anyone on the Packers is going to go off this week. The Lions have, if you look at the injury report, they're playing the third stringers on defense, linebackers and secondary. So and it's a shorter week too, Thursday night football. It's going to be a big Jaden Reed game, I think, if I have to say.
Yeah, that's good. Good choice. For the next, for my boom prediction, I'm going to go with one of your guys. Also, kind of my guy because of the Eagles. I'm going with AJ Brown. I think AJ Brown is going to have a big week against Carolina. Against Carolina, good. Like
it might be a Saquon game.
It could be a Saquon game. I was looking at Saquon, but I'm like, I don't like. It feels too easy to pick Saquon against that team. But I think AJ Brown, they're gonna be more comfortable to throw the ball more.
Yeah.
But Carolina is showing some life, and I definitely would not underestimate Carolina based on, they took the Bucks to OT and took them fumbling to lose the game. Bryce Young found second wind in the season after he was benched and he came back.
He's playing like the best quarterback from last year's class. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. So he's showing that talent that he was drafted at 1 overall. So it's just a matter of their team putting it together and him getting more experience. But I expect AJ Brown to do good this game.
Nice.
All right. Are we doing the Bengals here?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't need to. All right. Well, that wraps it up for the show today. Anish, do you have any nuggets on any words for our guests, our listeners? No guests.
I do have a couple nuggets. So the first one is I want to shout out a player on the Titans, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. He's a wide receiver on the Titans. He has 20 receptions through what week are we on? 13, 14? Through 13, 14 weeks. 20. That's not a lot. However, he's tied for 4th in the league for total touchdowns caught, which is just an insane stat in my opinion. He has 8 touchdowns and 20 catches. Like what is that?
The ultimate end zone target.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a crazy one.
Yeah, he's stealing Calvin Ridley's touchdowns.
He is. Yeah, I just wanted to shout him out. He might honestly be a borderline like flex level if he's like getting that.
I don't know. Too touchdown dependent though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He reminds me. It's kind of not. Obviously, he's not as good as. I'm not disrespecting Mike Evans here because Mike Evans is good beyond just a touchdown. But those years when Brady was in Tampa Bay, and he's just like, alley hoop to Mike Evans in the end zone. That's kind of what it seems like. Westbrook. Yeah, he's good. Yeah,
and we know Will Levis likes to throw a lot. So
yes, not good for Tony Pollard, but maybe pass catching.
And then this last one is a little longer nugget, so bear with me. But Jameis Winston is the first player in the Super Bowl era with 400 plus passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and multiple pick sixes thrown in a single game. When factoring in the interception return yards that led to pick sixes, the 668 combined passing yards plus interception return yards is the most by any quarterback in a single game in NFL history.
I don't know. I think interception is totally count as negative yards. So Jameis actually finished 600 yards, not 600.
I thought that was a funny stat.
Yeah. It sucks. It sucks to watch how that game ended because
It
they
just
were going shot for shot. Like
how do you
both
have
teams.
multiple pick sixes that are like long pick sixes? Like
Yeah, Cleveland did not. They as a team, most especially the second pick six was just ridiculous.
yeah.
Like no one person thought, let me touch this guy that's on the ground, that's laying here, and no one has touched him yet.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like defeated by the interception instead of actually like playing the game. But benefited some people in fantasy for sure. All
Definitely.
right, that's it for today. Thank you, Anish, for those fun facts, and thank you to our listeners for listening to another good episode of the Fantasy Huddle podcast. You know the usual. You know our Gmail by now. If you don't, it's the Fantasy Huddle podcast at gmail.com. You can reach us. Uh, we will definitely respond in a timely fashion.
We will.
But yeah, that's it for today. Peace.
Peace.
Sorry, this guy.